Brandee, how you doing?
Did we speak last season?
We did.
I remember you. Hi.
Yeah, I think everyone has so far. It's been quite nice. Considering last time we spoke was during the first wave of the pandemic, it was just nice to talk to people that weren't in your house for a change. It's all good. It's all good. Congratulations on the show again.
Thank you so much.
It's been a huge success so far. Have you guys got your head around your kind of world dynamics changing a little bit in the sense that the show's been big and now you have a fan base and people want to know things that they shouldn't maybe want to know before they see the season? Have you got your heads around all of that just yet?
We're still taking it in. Let me tell you, I'm still in shock everywhere I go. Like, I'm just like, wow, it doesn't matter. Like different ages, different ethnicities, races. I'm just like, y'all are really watching us. Oh my gosh, I'm so grateful. So it's just beautiful. And people are invested. And I mean, super invested in this show.
Were you personally nervous about when the first show was coming out? Because it was coming out at a strange time, given the pandemic, given that people couldn't interact the same and kind of absorb things the same way. So were you still kind of nervous before it came out that, oh, I hope at least somebody watches it, you know?
That's exactly what it was. Season one, I was like, great. The world is probably in the most heartbroken stage right now. They don't care about us. They don't want to watch this. But it actually became the opposite. It was like a relief and a release for people watching it. So I am just so grateful. I remember saying season one, if you would just give us a chance, I think you'll love it. And that's how I feel now. So it's almost surprising when people are just like, if I run into anyone that's like, oh, I haven't seen it. I'm like, really? Like, where have you been? If you don't get in there and watch it, you'll love it. And everyone that has is just like, you were right. You were right. By the time you get to 3, you're drawn in. Welcome to
Yeah.
the valley.
Yeah. What was your WhatsApp group like when the first episode aired? Or I think they might have all come out together. But when it first aired, what was your kind of your WhatsApp or your social media like?
You're right. It was each week. And it was, and when it first came out, people were just like, oh, this is interesting. But we didn't know if they liked us yet. It was episode 2 and 3. They're like, we're in, we love you, we see what it is, because they were trying to understand it. They thought Mercedes was a mean girl. And I'm like, she is not. You just keep watching, you know. They didn't understand what Uncle Clifford was. They would say things like that. Now you don't hear that from anyone, especially heterosexual men. It's just like, oh yeah, that's Uncle Clifford. And I'm like, yes. And I think that's what Katori wanted. And that's what non-binary identifying people want as well. Like, just know me. Like, it doesn't matter about the other things. Get to know me. So I think that's beautiful.
Yeah, and I mean, it's a show that has done so many good things, and as you say about the inclusivity and about all of these people around the world that have really embraced the show. So, how important do you think it is that shows like this exist? Because there's so much content that sometimes these kind of shows kind of get lost in the fact that there's just so much content, but this one has kind of penetrated so well.
I'm so glad, because there's so much that goes on in P Valley. Like, it's a lot happening in P Valley. So it can get overwhelming, but it's a lot happening in the world. So I think that is when people sit with it and they realize like, oh, I'm learning something along the way too. I think that's what makes it different. It's not like you're just watching, girls dance half naked. You're like, oh wait, this is a dance is just a portion of it. But what about Miss Mississippi when she goes home? Oh my God, is she okay? Are her children fine? Autumn Night, did her daughter passed. Like, it's real life things, and it's humanizing these characters and putting that mirror in front of America and the world for people to see like, oh my gosh, I know someone like him or her, or I've heard of someone like him or her, and let me listen to what they have to say and get a different perspective.
Yeah, I guess that's testament to Katori and her writing team's ability to bring this world into our world in some respects, that these people are, like you say, they're real people, that they're it's their job or it's the persona that they put out there, but actually there's a real person behind it. The show's been so good at that. How happy were you when season 2 came around that continued? Because Katori is just like a force of nature. When I spoke to her last year, she was like a force of nature just on Zoom, let alone in a show like this.
Just so excited because I knew that there were so many more stories to tell. I was excited to delve into more about Mercedes because I had so many questions. And even now, after season 2, I've gotten a lot of questions answered, but now I have a whole nother list from like, so Katori, okay, now that we've hit this mark, what's next? Because I need to know what happens here, 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 and here. So I know that she said it all the time, like she has stories to be told for seasons to come, not just for the main characters, but every character, because there's no small part on P-Valley. So, you know, every character, even if it's a core dancer and you're just like, oh, you know, that's Brazil. No, Brazil has a story. So you're gonna be getting into that with Katori, even more so this season. And I can only imagine what she has planned for seasons to come.
Yeah, and now obviously you go into season 2 and you have a kind of different pressure in the sense that it's I guess a preferable pressure because you've had a bit of success, but now there's an audience, there's people waiting, there's people wanting to know, and they all have versions of how they want the story to unfold in season 2. How exciting is that for you guys to see people's reactions and see what they're making of the show so far?
I can't wait. It's of course it's more pressure because you're like, okay, well, they loved us then, so you got to keep them loving you. And then it's just like, because they, like you said, they're invested, they're like, no, I see Mercedes doing this. And then I have a feeling that they are not going to be expecting anybody's story to go the way that they expect, but I know they're still going to be in it. They're going to love it.
Yeah. So let's talk about Mercedes and her evolution. You know, we saw her in season 1. We left her at a certain point. I won't spoil it for anyone that hasn't seen it, at the end of season 1. So there's an evolution. There's some changes coming about. How excited were you to read those when you got that first script for episode 1? How excited were you to not only read it, but to discover just what was going to happen next?
Right. Because we've been waiting and Katori won't tell us nothing. Like, but it actually makes for better art, I think, because you're authentically getting it just like the character, like, wait, this has happened to me. So now how do I deal with it? So it was very exciting as an actor to play with those colors. And oh my gosh, lots of tears when I got scripts this season. Last season, I remember specifically episode 3 made me cry when I found out that Mercedes was a mom, because throughout the entire audition process, I had no idea. No one ever said a word. I found out when I got the script. And so this season, you will find out a lot of things, and just know Brandee was finding them out at the same time. So, I mean, it was so many days I was like calling Nicco or Ella, like, what? Did you read it yet? Do you see what's going on? Like, it's just amazing.
She's quite an enigma as well. That must be fun as an actress to play someone like that, because you know what's coming, but the audience kind of doesn't. So you get to play with their expectations, and then you get to, now obviously with social media, you kind of get to watch the reactions kind of semi-live in many respects. How much fun is it to play? First of all, how much fun is it for you to play her? Because she is, like all the characters, so well written and so well nuanced in so many ways.
It's a dream come true. You know what? She allows me to tackle things that I'm afraid to do. And I get to try this on camera. Okay. You know, let's just see. So she's giving me an opportunity to be brave, in a sense, on camera, braver than I would be in my normal life.
And you said as well, I love that you said, and a couple of people said this about the no small parts in the show. There is no small parts. Talk to me about being part of this ensemble, because you guys must have a bit of a confidence now and a shorthand, given you have a relationship with each other, but also the audience now has a relationship with you.
Yes, we love it. And we love our Pynk Posse fans, because ride or die fans, let me tell you. And it's so funny too, because if there's any negativeness about the show, like season 1, we were kind of on our own for fending, you know, for ourselves, like, okay, you know, so-and-so said this about us. And now season 2, like if anyone were to try to even come in and say anything, we've got a fan that's already tackled it for us. Like, y'all will not talk about our Mercedes or our Uncle Clifford, Little Murder. So it's just beautiful because they love us so much and we love them for that.
Yeah. Some of the guys were saying that already they've had celebrities and people going to Halloween parties as these characters. That must be a surreal thing for you guys to see, to think, oh my God, this is where the show is at the minute.
Crazy. Last night, LeBron James' wife DM'd me and I was like, like, I was like, oh my gosh. She's like, I am such a fan of the show. And I'm just like, what? Y'all are watching it? So yeah, it was beautiful. I remember when season 1, when Snoop I used to dance for Snoop. And so when he hit me in the DM, was just like, yo, like, I love it. And he was actually talking about Uncle Clifford too. He was like, yo, that character Uncle Clifford though. I was like, you need to tell him that. And I gave him Nicco's number and I was like, call him and tell him, because he needs to hear this, because this is beautiful. Because a lot of times you don't find men, and heterosexual men too, like giving men praise like that. And I was like, please call him and tell him, and Alphonse as well. So it's just been beautiful to watch everyone accept these characters as humans and people and love, and the way we just should live our lives. Honestly, it's been wonderful.
Yeah. And I was saying to the guys all about the social media aspect, because now you have there's Instagram pages, there's TikTok videos about people giving their reactions, giving their thoughts. That's a strange concept to a lot of people. Yeah, exactly. It's such a strange concept for, I sit here and do my job, but then you're sitting there doing your job and you're part of it. So how do you feel about that when you go on social media, that there's so much kind of love, but also people are embracing the show, like you say, in so many different ways? It's pretty mad, I can imagine.
Yes, it became overwhelming. I can't lie. I literally, I have my DM still blocked. And then I turned off a lot of tags because it would be overwhelming. Like, I'm like, I can't even see my nephew's graduation, because every time I open it, someone is like Mercedes or Uncle Clifford. And that's a beautiful thing. But I was not expecting all of this love. It's been an amazing journey for sure.
Yeah, yeah. And you say about Katori having, and you're not the only one to have said this so far, about how she's got the idea of where she wants to go and she's got many seasons. Yeah. Are you not quite ready to say goodbye to Mercedes? Is she someone that you would like to play for a few more years if you got the chance?
Don't make me cry. I am not ready to say goodbye to Mercedes. This is on the record. I am not ready to say goodbye. I really do hope that I get to come back. If there is a season 3 and she sees Mercedes' journey moving forward, I would love to continue playing with her. It's amazing. And
Are you someone that doesn't want to know anything about what she's planning, or are you trying to get the secrets already?
No, I do want to know. Like, I was already asking questions before we wrapped the season. I was like, so what are you thinking? And of course, Katori's very, very good at kind of keeping you wondering. And she's just like, well, this is it for you for this season. We'll see what happens. I'm just like, okay. And so
That's probably how a good showrunner, executive producer should be. It's like, well, you've done this season. See where we go.
So yeah.
And just finally, I wanted to ask you, I'm someone that likes to watch. This show reminds me of like old days watching TV, in the sense that you get one episode every week.
Right.
Some people like to binge watch and everything else. Do you think this show has benefited from the one a week scenario, rather than having a whole blitz of episodes straight away?
Yes. And you know what's funny is I enjoy a binge, but I'm so glad my show isn't a binge, because I feel like when I binge things, I'm done with it so fast. And then I feel like it's not in my mind anymore. But when you're watching it every week, I feel like it's staying with you. And I think that's what's ticked most of our fans off. Like, girl, you had us drawn for 8 weeks and now you're gone for 2 years. What are you doing? So they get 2 more episodes, but they are going to be big mad when it ends this season, because it ends with an even crazier bang.
Yeah, there's something special, I think, about the wait, the anticipation, because you have a week to kind of like say the what ifs in your head and then still be surprised.
Mm-hmm. And then I feel like it makes you want to watch it again, because when you just keep going. But I feel like when you wait, I know some of my favorite shows, when I've watched one, I'm just like, okay, God, it's just Thursday, Sunday is not here yet. Okay, let me just watch it again, see if I missed anything. And then by the time that second episode comes, it's even better.
Absolutely. Brandee, so lovely to talk to you again. Thank you so much for your time. And hopefully season 3, we will meet again.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Hey You Guys.
Hey You Guys, huh?
Hey You Guys.
Is that from the Goonies?
It is indeed, yeah.
Nice.
Hey You Guys.